Hello, my name is Brittany and I am an independent beauty consultant for Mary Kay, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use Mary Kay's makeup samples to put together a look. So if you have a Mary Kay consultant, just ask her for some color cards, foundation, primer, as well as if she can put together some samples of your concealer and under eye corrector. Now, it's always recommended that you actually do an in-person appointment with your consultant if possible, because there are so many products available that we really don't have the ability to either have them in samples or put together samples of those products. But I'm just going to kind of show you how to put together a look based off of what I can put together as a sample. So the first thing I'm going to do is the color cards. So these are the Mary Kay color cards. They come in 3 different types: brown eyes, blue eyes, and green eyes. We're going to completely ignore the eye color and just use the cards for the shadow and blush colors that they come with. So they do come with 3 eyeshadow colors, a blush color, as well as a lipstick color that are all really matched well, but we're going to kind of mix and match a little bit just to have some fun. So today I'm going to actually just use the 2 color cards for the green eyes and the brown eyes. So those are what we're going to use. So I'm going to set aside the blue eye color, but you can always go back and play and have fun once you've kind of learned a technique. So what I'm also going to be using today, instead of sponge applicators, is I'm going to be using brushes. These are just some cheap disposable brushes that I purchased. However, I highly recommend using brushes because it is going to really improve the way that you're able to put on the product. And I'll show you. So here's my brush set from Mary Kay. So these are a lot of the brushes that she has. I will tell you the the material that we use for our brushes are super soft synthetic fibers that are really going to put on your product in a way that you're gonna probably throw out the rest of your brushes. But just because these are cheap and disposable, I'm able to kind of hand these to customers who want to play with the products. So these are the brushes that come with the set that I hand out. And so as you'll see, there's some different types of tips and things of that nature. The stiffer the brush, the more intense the color. So if you kind of want a light color, you're going to want to go to this big flat brush because these bristles are soft and they're not stiff. The more intense colors, you're going to go to this round brush. These are more packed, and so they're going to be a little bit stiffer. And then this is what I'll probably, one of these 2. So this would be like eyebrows. And then this one you can use as a smudge brush or liner brush. Okay. This brush, really, I don't use this brush. It's a little bit too small and too soft for me to even get a good application of color. Okay, so the first thing you're going to start with is a clean face that has been moisturized. So you always want to start with clean skin, moisturizer, and your sunscreen if your moisturizer doesn't have it already in there. And then we're going to go to our foundation primer. So this does have an SPF 15 in it. But what you're going to want to do is to apply the primer in multiple directions. If you have a foundation brush, you can use a foundation brush to apply your primer. But I'm going to go ahead and just use my hands because I'm showing you what you can do at home with just the samples. So I'm not just going down, I'm going up. So I kind of do a circular motion up and away. You never want to drag your skin down. You just want to go up and away. And then you're going to come down to the chin area. Okay. And then I generally give an eye primer sample as well. So this is going to be our eye primer. It just takes a little bit. You want to apply this with your ring finger. The tissue around the eye is very fragile, so you don't want to be putting a whole lot of pressure. And our ring finger is our weakest finger as far as touch and pressure. So for this look, I'm going all the way up to the brow line. So from lash line to brow line. If you're just going to only be focusing on the lid itself, you can go ahead and just put the primer there. You don't have to put it all the way up. Okay, so you're going to let your primers dry. Next thing we're going to talk about is foundation. I generally give a lot of options for foundation so that you can find a color that best suits you. The best way to match your foundation is in natural sunlight, and you want to start on your chest because you want to match your chest to your face. However, if you were like me, a lot of my shirts are high collared. I don't have a lot of low collared shirts, so my chest is considerably lighter than my face during the summertime. So what I do then is I find the lightest space on my face, which is generally the areas around here. I put a dab of foundation on there, kind of let it sit for a little bit, warm to skin temperature, and blend it. You want to pick the one that basically disappears but gives you the coverage you're looking for. I have some red undertones, so I look for one that takes the red undertones away. So for me, that's Beige Cool 110. So that's the color I'm going to be using today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply just the tiniest amount of foundation to my eyelids. And this is just to prime the eyes for color. So you put it on under and put it on the lids all the way up to the brow line. Okay. So now that the foundation is applied, we can go ahead and go to our color. The first color we're going to apply is a highlighter color, so you want to pick a light color. For me, I'm going to go to the green color card, and I'm going to choose the Blossom. So you're just going to peel back the little cellophane. You can leave it attached so that you can cover up and reuse this multiple times. So I'm going to go to Blossom. I'm going to grab the wide brush, the soft brush, and I'm just going to go in for a little bit of color. Now, Mary Kay's color is a little goes a long way, so you don't want to get your brush in there and really dig into the color. You can just kind of tap the brush and get color on there. So you don't need to go in and really pile the color on. So the first thing I'm going to do is just apply a soft highlight to the brow. And then I'm going to come back into the duct and just put a little bit of highlight here in the duct. On the other side, brow, and then duct. If you don't have brushes, you can always use the sponge applicator or your fingers. Those are perfectly fine as well. I find that sometimes Q-tips can work, but they don't have enough, they don't really hold together really well for a lot of movement. They kind of start to break down with a lot of movement. So that is going to be your highlighter. So just your brow and your duct. Very subtle look on those. The next we're going to go to is, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Sunlit Rose. No, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to actually go to, let's go to the brown color palette. And here's a little sneaky secret. Instead of using the eyeshadow color, I'm actually going to go to the blush color. So this is Desert Rose. Again, I'm going to grab a little bit of color. And I'm sticking with the wide brush that I used for the highlight. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to apply this with the eye open, and you're going to want to apply it to any part of the upper eyelid between where you put that highlight. So I put the highlight here, so that crease that forms with my eye open, between that and where I put my highlight, so right here. So you always want to do it with the eye open. I'm going to turn the brush, so instead of having it like this, I'm going to turn it and apply the color. Okay, I'm going to remove any of the excess color on it and then turn the brush to blend it out. So I kind of do some swirls down here and then some windshield wiper moves. I rest my pinky on my cheek. That gives me a good base of support. And then I just blend it out. Go over to the other eye. Again, turn the brush. The eye open. Now, remove any excess color, turn the brush, and blend it out. So kind of give some swirls, and come out. I'm actually going to go in, kind of even that out just a little bit up here. So I left that space for the highlight and just filled that space between that crease that forms and that highlight. The reason I don't recommend like pulling on the eye when you put color on is because as soon as you let go of the eye, it's going to naturally fall and you're going to hide that color once again. So there's really no benefit to pulling the eye. So we're just trying to do what you see with the eye open, so that way you can actually see the color. Now, and it's important that you come out here. There's a lot of real estate out here that can take color. So if you just focus at the end point of your eye here, you're missing a lot of opportunity. So you want to come all the way out. Use all your real estate. Okay. Now we're switching brushes. We're going to switch to this round, stiffer brush. And I'm going to go in to the brown eye color palette and grab the hazelnut. So this is where we're going to apply to that natural crease. So where that line forms, we're going to apply that to that natural crease. Again, don't need to swirl your brush into that color. Just a little bit of tapping is going to put the color on there. So you just kind of tap it. You don't need to really dig it in. Okay, this one you are going to apply with the eye slightly closed, and you're going to just hit that natural crease that's there. And you can just do swirl, 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 windshield wipers. Swirl, 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 windshield wipers. And this is just what we call our intensity color. This is going to be the darkest color you're going to use, so it can be any of the colors available. If you go to the blue eye palette, you can use either one of these two colors. So if you're going for a real smoky eye, you really could intensify it with the shadow color. But for me, I'm just going to stick with this pink and brown palette that I really find favors a lot of eye colors, skin tones, things of that nature. So again, we're coming over to the other eye and bringing the color. So circle, 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 windshield. Okay. There you have it. All right. So I'm just taking off any excess color on my brushes. I generally like to use multiple brushes so that you're not using dirty brushes between colors, so you'll get a better true color. but you can always just kind of wipe off the excess between brushes. The next color we're going to go to is back on our green card. It's the number 1 here, and that is the Sunlit Rose. And that one's the one that's going to go on the eyelid. So we already kind of have a little bit of highlight on the inner corner. So we're really just going to focus on the outer 2/3 with this color. I'm going back to my flat, fluffy brush. Pick up that color. And I'm just going to apply that down. And over to the other side. So this is the only color that we've used that has the shimmer. You can use shimmer throughout your whole look. You can use matte throughout the whole look. It's really up to you. Now this space that's out here, don't worry about it coming over and getting messy. We're going to go back and clean all that up, so don't worry about that. Okay, so there you have the eye colors. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to go to this brush here. Okay, that is what we're going to use for a shadow. There are some eyeliner. There are some eyeliner samples out there. I don't keep them. I find that just using shadow, actually, I prefer to use shadow over eyeliner because it's a little bit more fun to play with the different colors. So we're going to go into Merlot. So that's the darkest color we have here. And you're just going to apply a little bit of that to the tip. And you're going to go right to the lash line, and you're going to apply it as if it were an eyeliner. Small, smooth strokes. I love using eyeshadow as an eyeliner because it's such a soft line. It's not this harsh, dark line. You can really get it into the lash line and blend it with your product that's already on there with your eyeshadow. And our products, they stay kind of where you put them. So you're not going to have a whole lot of transfer from your liner to your eyelid. All right, so see, just a little bit. If you want to go more dramatic, what you can do is actually go back to that round brush. So if you want a little bit of a more dramatic eye, you're just going to very lightly put a little bit of that color on. You're going to come out to the outer V and bring that color out just a little bit and kind of blend it into that natural crease. So that's going to give you a little bit of a smokiness if you want to go for a little bit more of a dramatic eye. So see the difference here? Kind of just gives you that little bit of a smokiness to the eye. So we're going to go back to the other eye. Again, I'm resting my pinky on the cheekbone, just taking small strokes. One of the rules, one of the tips that I kind of give to a new, to someone who's new with putting on makeup is you kind of want to figure out which of your sides you're kind of like weak on. For me, obviously putting makeup on my left eye takes a little bit more work than putting makeup on my right eye. So one of the tips I give is always start with your weaker eye. So for me, if I started with my left eye, then I can try to match with my right eye versus starting with a strong side and trying to match it. I'm just coming back in with that Sunlit Rose just because I got a little bit of a smudge there. I'm just blending it out. There we go. And see, this stuff is very easy to kind of go back in and correct if you're not happy with it. You can always take a little bit of eye makeup remover on a Q-tip and remove part of it as well. Okay, again, I'm going to go back in with that round brush into the Merlot. Just took the littlest bit of color on there. Come out to the outer V and just slightly up the crease. Just to smoke it out just a bit. Okay, so there you have the eye for the most part. We're going to stop here on the eye, but we'll come back, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our, excuse me, we're going to go back to our foundation and apply our foundation. Again, if you have a foundation brush, beauty blender, or a sponge, you can go ahead and use it at this time. I'm just going to use my finger. And I always kind of just dab where I need color the most and blend it out from there. Again, gentle under the eyes. We've already applied a little bit of color under there, but we don't want to be doing any intense rubbing on the eyes. Now, one of the benefits of using an applicator like a brush or a beauty blender is that you're not heating the product up before you lay it down. That's going to give you better coverage. My favorite product for applying is the Mary Kay foundation. The blending brush is what our blending brush, but this is a tightly packed brush, so you are going to get more coverage because, again, the same with the eyeshadow, the tighter the packed, the firmer, the stiffer the brush, the more coverage you're going to get. So I really like using that kind of a brush. We do have a foundation, a liquid foundation brush. I'll show you what that looks like. Maybe I won't. I didn't bring it. Okay. If you go on our website, you can see that we have the liquid foundation brush. It's got a little bit of an angle to it, but those bristles are super soft in comparison to the blending brush, so you're going to get lighter coverage. Okay, so moving on. Now that we have our foundation on, what I'm going to have you do is eye packed. Okay, so you have the two colors here. These are the Perfecting Concealer and the Under Eye Concealer. Okay. So you're going to go to this brush here. So that is a stiff brush. You're going to want a stiff brush for this process. I use the back of my palette. What you want to do is you want to take the concealer as well as the under eye corrector, and we're going to mix them. I generally use a liquid shadow brush for this process, but we'll use this brush that comes with that little kit. So you're going to want to you're going to mix your under eye corrector and your concealer together. Put that product on the brush. Let's see, you're going to come here, apply that under the eye. You kind of do a little bit of a downward. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take that brush, see how I'm holding it, and go under the eye, and you're going to sweep it up, just like that. Don't worry, we're going to handle this. It's not going to look this crazy, I promise. On the other side, come under the eye, and sweep it up. Okay, so let's tame the crazy. So I come back in. If you have a beauty blender, if you have a sponge, you can go in at this time. I'm just using my finger and I'm blending it out. Now what that has done is it's cleaned out the outer edge, and it has given us a nice shape to lift the eye. So you should have done one eye at a time, but it lifts the eye and cleans up any of the outerness, brightens the eye underneath, covers up any of those dark spots. So it's multi-purpose. Okay, over to this side. And just blend it on over. Okay. There we are. Okay, so now we're going to go back in to our little brush that we used, the liner. I want you to remove as much color from that brush as you can. So take all that color off. Now we're going to go back in to our shadows and do the under eye. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to go actually back to the Desert Rose and use that blush color. Now you can use lipstick color, you can use blush color, you can use eyeshadow color. I'm going to just hit the lower lid. Very lightly, nothing too intense, just a little bit of color. Okay, and then go back to the Merlot and use it as a liner. And I just hit the last third. And see how I kind of bring it up just a little bit to connect it right to where that little line, that swoop that I put in. If you're into doing a little bit of a cat eye, if you have a liner, you can definitely follow that on up. Okay, just a little bit. There we go. So there you have the eyes. To finish the eyes up, we're going to go ahead in with our foundation. I'm going to use the full-size foundation, but you can use the little sample. So you're going to start with the upper eye, the eyelashes on the upper lid. You're going to go to the base of it, do a wiggle wiggle, and pull out. Now, if you have very little practice with applying mascara, I always recommend using a spoolie. You can buy those anywhere, and you can practice with a plain spoolie before you put mascara on it, just to get comfortable with getting close to the eye. Okay. So a rule of thumb is, you'll be a little bit surprised by this, 4 coats. 4 coats of mascara. If you have different types of mascara that you like, you can actually kind of use them together. So I have the Ultimate, which is good for adding volume to the eyes, to the lashes, so they're going to make them look fuller. And then you can go back in with our lengthening and lengthen them. So you can put 2 coats of Ultimate on. So this is coat number 2. And this one I'm not like going into the roots as much. I'm just kind of adding a little bit more volume to them. And then you can go in with 2 coats of your lengthening if you have that available. There we go. So when you're applying mascara, you don't want to pump your mascara into your tube because you're just putting air in, which is going to dry your mascara out. So if you need more mascara on your spoolie, you simply just want to insert it and twist as if you were twisting it on and off. Okay, and this is number 4. Okay, so for me, I don't insert the spoolie back into the product to do my lower lashes. I don't prefer to have a lot of product on my lower lashes. So what I do is I just kind of go in and give a little bit of a wiggle to kind of put a little bit of product on the lashes. 1 to 2 coats on the lower lashes. I'm sorry, I have a mirror right below the camera, so I'm trying to see what I'm doing while letting you see what I'm doing as well. There we go. So just a little bit for me goes a long way. All right, last bit we're gonna finish up here. Okay, we're gonna go back to our color cards and apply blush. For me, I'm gonna actually go to the green color card and apply the blush here. This is called Rosy Nude. You can always use the same blush, the cheek color that you used on the eye for your cheek. I already have red undertones, so I tend to pick a more neutral cheek color just to keep it from being too intense for me. Okay, so using a cotton ball, generally I would be using a cheek brush, but a cotton ball will definitely give you the look that you're looking for. So we're gonna go to the cotton ball. You want to go 2 fingers away from the nostril and up towards like the point of your ear. And so you're just gonna apply a little bit of color. Okay, so I apply a little bit of color and then I come in and I flip it to a clean one. And then I blend it. Okay, so the same side, 2 fingers out, up towards the tip of my ear, apply a little bit of the color, and then blend it out. Okay, now at this point, you're gonna go, if you have colors for highlight and contour, you can go ahead and do that. Again, this is where it's beneficial to have a face-to-face appointment with your consultant, because those things are something that she would have on hand to kind of show you how to do your contour, but it's perfectly fine if that's not the case. So now we're going to go to lip color. For me, the rule of thumb is intense eye, neutral lip. If you go with a more neutral eye, you can go with a intense lip. I generally send what we call a doe foot applicator. This is what I'll give for lips. Again, brushes are a great application tool for lipstick. You can use the lips that came with You can use the lip color that came with the with your color cards, or if you're like me, I send samples, lip color samples. So because I've got a nice intense eye, I'm going to find a more neutral lip color. Let me see if I can find my lip color that I prefer. There we go. So a lip color that I like is called Love Me Pink. It's just a subtle pink tone. Now, if you find that your lipstick doesn't stay on for very long, it's generally because you have dry lips. The skin on your lips is the only skin on your body that doesn't shed naturally. So you want to use an exfoliant like our satin lip sugar rub that we have. That'll exfoliate the lips. And then you want to moisturize with the lip balm. All right, so your doe foot applicator, you're going to apply a little bit of the color. And you're going to go to the bottom lip. So apply it to the bottom. Give it a little bit of a smudge there, and then just fill in where you need it on the top. And that is your completed lip. So you have a finished look from start to finish with just the samples that are provided. Again, reach out to your consultant if you have any questions regarding the products. The last thing I'm going to show you is our makeup remover, because obviously at the end of the day, you're going to want to go ahead and remove all of this. So this is the Mary Kay makeup remover. It's a two-part formula, your top and bottom. So you're going to want to shake that before you get started. You're really going to want to get this cloudy consistency so that both products are combined together. And I'm going to actually grab let's see if I can find a color. Here we go. All right, so this is our waterproof liquid eyeliner. I love this eyeliner. So I'm going to just draw on my hand and let that dry a little bit. When I say I love this eyeliner, I love that eyeliner. What I love about it, one, it's waterproof and it's going to stay where you put it. I generally use a sample on my hand like this, and I went a week with it on my hand. It did not move. So the next thing you're going to want to do is either grab a cotton ball. I prefer a cotton pad. It's not going to absorb as much of the product, but I've just got cotton balls down here. Okay, so I've mixed the product. I'm going to take my cotton ball, apply just a little bit to the cotton ball. Okay, I'm going to show you real quick this. Like I said, it's not going anywhere, okay? See? Love that eyeliner. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your cotton pad, cotton ball, whatever, on the product, and you're just going to let it sit for about 30 seconds. Now, when I apply it to the eye, I kind of blink into it for about 10 seconds because that's going to apply the makeup remover both on the underside of the lash as well as the upper lashes to help kind of dissolve the product to make it easier to remove. The reason that it is important to let the product sit is you want the solvents to kind of help dissolve your makeup so that you're not pulling on your eye. Like I said, the tissue on your eye is very fragile and you don't want to be pulling and tugging on it. So I've held it on there for about 30 seconds. So it's still there. And I just simply wipe it away. Okay? So no pulling, no tugging, just simply wiping it away. So there you have it. So that is our oil-free eye makeup remover. This is great for all skin types, sensitive skins, as well as contact wearers. One of the favorite products out there. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and contact your beauty consultant. I'm happy to help if you're in the Texas area. And have a good evening.